With that, ladies and gentlemen, tonight he will be sharing his vision on infusing Indianness in contemporary interiors. With that, please join me in welcoming on stage none other than architect Manish Kumat.
Quý vị thân mến, chúng ta sẽ cùng chào đón trên sân khấu nhà thiết kế tài năng Manish Kumat. Một tràng pháo tay thật lớn được không thưa quý vị?
Welcome to you, sir. Before you begin, let me tell you something. Has anyone ever told you in your life that you look like Imtiaz Ali? Few people, of course. Over to you.
So good evening, friends. Interior designers from Vietnam Design Association, Triple ID, the apex body for interior design in the country, President Sarosh Wadia, NEC members, Saurabh ji and Parul ji, I would call them dear friends, very humble, very polite, lot of things to learn from him. And of course, Sumit and Alex, who have put a great show over here, lot of hard work right from yesterday, even in the morning, to set up the whole things. And let's just get the ball rolling. So basically, I am going to address about few things: Indianness, contemporary interiors, and art and craft. So of late, since last few years, I am trying to do research that how I can make or how my company can design projects which can bring in Indianness into the contemporary interiors. So this is something which we have been exploring, trying to do. So let us understand first what is interiors, how interiors evolved. And this is a slide which is close to a place where I live. Almost 30,000 years back, our great-great-grandfathers, forefathers, ancestors, when they were living in caves, they did this. Why? Because interiors is a form of expression. It is something which is inherent inside. Everyone wants to express. Even in those times when interiors was not formally thought of, even in those times, our ancestors had this feeling of expressing themselves, to live beautifully, to live in a place where they can decorate it. And that is how interiors 30,000 years back evolved in India. And perhaps it's the first example, Bhimbetka caves in Bhopal. This place, which is in Aurangabad, Ellora Caves, just try to imagine 3,000 years back, there were certain monks who decided that let us design something right within the mountain, going from the top and designing something which goes down, an approach which is top to bottom. What kind of patience those people must have, working for maybe thousands of years, generations gone, and they were still working on the stones, trying to do something which we cannot even think of. And when I try to imagine of those monks, those simple monks, and they never knew, and they were doing it for their whole life, working on the stones. So this is something which is phenomenal, gives me a goosebump. But then, again when I thought, why did they have to do a pillar like this? Maybe 1500 years back. Again, there was a form of expression. They wanted to express. A pillar is a pillar. It was meant to support. But they carved it, they created a form, they gave a language, they beautified it. And this is where you know that this expression of doing interiors is important because it is inherent in a human being. So, I say our spaces evolve and we evolve. Maybe I am not the same person I was 20 years back. I evolve and my design evolve. And we go through a continuous process of churning, observations, experience, and the things start evolving. This made me think there is a home in Brazil and there is a home in Mumbai. They both look the same. What is happening in today's time? The language is blurring, designing is becoming global, spaces are losing context. There is a home in London and there is a home in Delhi. They both look the same. These are randomly picked images from Google, but they look the same. Although beautiful, but they look the same. Now, this is somewhere in Ho Chi Minh City, and that is somewhere in Dubai. They both look the same. So, this made me think in today's time, there is luxury, modernism, minimalism, and contemporary design, but where is the cultural context? And for India, where is Indianness? So this exploration started few years back, and we thought as a practice, how can we get connected to our roots in these modern times where the language is becoming global, where the things are getting unified in terms of design. So I started exploring how can we design for Indianness. Most of the spaces designed in India these days do not reflect the local ethos. There is a need for design that appeals to the cultural identity of the users. The question of interest is how can designers do so? The aim is to find out how a designer can infuse Indianness in their design spaces. So this is a journey which started few years back. And then I thought, what are the ways to do it? So I came upon that we can try to address this thing in two ways. First, applying a minimalist approach to the traditional design. Second, addition of traditional elements, art and craft of the country into the modern design. So these are the two ways we started working on it. And I would like to cover here a few spaces. This is the first approach, trying to give a minimalist approach to the traditional design. Certain areas which our office has done. So this is the first example, it's a farmhouse. Now there are so many elements from different parts of the country. Those people who are aware about it, they can see the laterite from Goa. The cobblestone comes from Rajasthan. The color is of the desert sand. The door is mimicked from Rajasthan. The roofing comes from South India. And so many elements together, fused together in one, becomes a farmhouse. And of course, when one looks at it, there is a feeling of connection that yes, these are the different elements. Very minimalistically done bedroom within the same farmhouse using the local Kota stone. In all my projects, we have ensured that there is a touch of hand. The furniture does not come from Europe or China. It is made on the site by the people, by the carpenters. The material used is shisham wood. Art and craft. one of the clubs, one of the oldest clubs in the city, almost 150 years old, trying to bring certain elements which can give character. The challenge for me was always that how can we create washrooms done with tiles or washroom done with imported marble? Why can't we do washrooms which are with Indian stones? And again, then this process few years back started, and we started working on using these stones. And believe me that the touch of these stones when you walk on these floors, the kind of feeling, the kind of connection it gives is phenomenal. And of course, we take all the precautions using these stones. These are extremely simple material palettes, and they give phenomenal results in terms of experience. So these Indian stones, very, very cheap, not expensive, but they become part of the washrooms. No vitrified tiles, no ceramic tiles. These materials, which are very Indian in character, they have some kind of motifs which are derived from the country. They become a part of the design process. And these motifs, when inlaid and imbibed into the design, they give a character to the whole design. And these different materials, they are used, fused, combined together, and we are doing lots and lots of experiment with different Indian stones these days. You can see laterite, you can see Kandla grey, you can see river washed pebbles becoming a part. There is an indoor shower area, there is an outdoor shower area, and all these. The elements, the materials, when they become a part of such designs, you feel a connection. We are also trying to use lot of craft. This door, which is designed with almost more than 1500 pieces of waste reclaimed wood, the handle, which is a part of product design, a chair which you can see in the background is again a product design. The art, which is becoming a part of most of our projects, we are trying to promote art. We are trying to promote artists who are new. On the left, you see the painting of Krishna and Radha. And this is actually not a painting, this is done with tissue paper, not a single brush stroke. The paper which is used to make kites is used in this painting, and different color paper, when stuck together, gave this effect. And an artist, a young boy who is working on this, and he has developed this whole practice of using tissue paper to create art. The place where I live, on the left is an image which is historical Rajbada. And when we were doing this 150-year-old club, which is a legacy of the British Empire, and we wanted to bring in the local character into that club. So we created this wall, which is a connection to the city and the history of the city. A jewelry showroom, again done using local people, nothing outsourced, few residences, the Jharoka on the left, a painting on the right, and you can see the motifs in the false ceiling at the top, inlaid with brass, galicha tiles. So these are all local materials. Somewhere, some hands have worked on it, and I always believe the touch of hand somewhere brings that kind of emotion which becomes an experience. So, in contemporary interiors, playing with materials and motifs and certain elements which are very Indian in character, and everything made at the site brings in at a very low cost the kind of impact to the interior space which is very much Indian. Extremely minimalist, using a cart, walls becoming a canvas, some Indian shloks, some Indian motifs, using brass and copper. So, this is the first approach which we use for Indianness. The second approach is through the thoughtful use of timeless traditional materials and contemporary design strategies, we bring Indianness into our interiors. And other is even subtle design interventions from the choice of materials to the detailing have the power to bring a distinct sense of Indianness to the diverse Indian style. We also started working and documenting the different art and craft forms of the country. So these are the craft. India is a very diverse country, from maybe the North Himalayas to the southern coastal regions. We have lots of art and craft. So these art and craft forms were documented. They happen into the rural areas, and how these craft and art craft forms can be revived. We started working on it. So we can see Lippen becoming a part. But the important thing is, all these art and craft forms, they are done on the site, in the presence of the client, in front of him, by those people who are villagers, who are very poor, who come from villages. They do it in front of them in all these modern interiors. And the whole process is a journey, is an experience. And you can see the touch of hand. They did not do any architecture, they did not do any interiors, self taught people. So the walls becoming canvas. In front of the client, it happens. Again, a traditional art form, Madhubani, not they are small works, they are big, huge works happening on the whole wall, on the site. The concept is prepared before in the office, and then how the execution starts. The best part is, these are the people who did not get any formal education. They inherited this art from their parents in the village which they live. perfect strokes. So much of detailing, lot of patience. These artists are very humble people, very grassrooted people. And these art forms, they become a part of modern interiors. And I still think you don't have to spend a lot. Money is important, but the kind of connection which a make by hand or made by hand gives, it is something which is extremely important to our practice. Then Thikri work, this is a very special work from Gujarat. We have our president who comes from Gujarat. Thikri is from Rajasthan, I'm sorry. So there is a design process. The design was conceived like this. Now you can see a live printout. This is a mirror work art. Broken pieces of mirror. Each and every piece cut. Extremely laborious process. So I feel somewhere it is our very important duty to revive these lost art and craft forms of the country. And we as designers, rather than using wallpapers and artificial materials, why can't we think about using these things? They come from small villages of Rajasthan, a state in India. Whole of their villages, since centuries, they are working on this form. Earlier it was used in palaces. We have used in a jewelry showroom. Even at the reception counter. how it becomes and merges with the overall modern contemporary interiors. And finally, terracotta work. Huge installations, almost 20 to 20 feet high. We have Prasanjit over here who comes from Kolkata. These are the people who come from West Bengal. They do the work in central part of India. Somewhere in West Bengal, in a remote village, these people are working on clay. They don't have means. They are not rich, but they have their inherited art, which they have taken from their maybe parents or ancestors or the village. And based on the design which is being given by us, they create this. They work for months. And it gives them satisfaction. Creating texture on the clay. Cutting each and every piece. No sophisticated machines. Drawing on the left is a concept. Workers on the right are giving shape to the drawing. You can see the surroundings and you can appreciate that they come from villages, remote villages. Now these things are cut into pieces. Thousands of such pieces are cut and numbered, each numbered very precisely. Collected in one place, thousands of them. Fired in a very crude way, extremely crude, no sophisticated burners. Now they are complete, the firing process is complete. They check it. Now firing is complete. These 1,000 pieces are now packed into a box. Again, the box is very crude, simple carton box. After being crudely packed, these pieces are brought by these artists thousands of kilometers away. They check it at the site. These pieces come by train. Now these pieces are on the site. actual layout done on the floor to check whether any piece is missing or not. And now the laying process starts. Once ready on the floor, they start putting it on the wall, piece by piece. And then finally it becomes a part of the overall design. So I strongly believe our approach is to methodically revive, restore, and reinterpret the rural art and craft of the nation. And I strongly believe that the application of the human touch creates soulful spaces, experiential spaces. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Kumat. Thank you. I think I called you Imtiaz Ali way too early. The way you directed this entire presentation, the way you have brought our Indian art and craft to this global platform is truly impeccable. And how you are blending that Indianness into the modern spaces with contemporary trends, that is truly appreciated. But you know what? What moved us the most? How you champion the Indian artisans. You showed us some of the crafts like tikri craft from Rajasthan, passed down for generations. So with what you're doing, you're not just sustaining livelihoods, you are preserving their legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, can we please have a big round of applause for Mr. Kumat here? May I request Saurabh sir and Parul ma'am to please join us up on the stage and kindly felicitate Mr. Manish Kumat, ladies and gentlemen.
Once again, thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please put our hands together louder for him? Wow, what an inspiring presentation that was. Thank you so much, sir, once again, for gracing this platform. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, our delegates.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we now move forward to our next part of this evening. And next up, we brought to you a very interesting Hawa Hawai. I mean, the fan dance of Vietnam.
Yes, Namrata. Ladies and gentlemen, now, to honor Vietnamese tradition, we're gonna bring you the fan dance, a celebration of beauty, of harmonies, of balance, just like the architecture itself. Và quý vị thân mến, ngay bây giờ đây, chúng tôi xin quý vị hãy dành thời gian để thưởng thức một tiết mục nghệ thuật tiếp theo, tiết mục múa quạt, biểu tượng của sự duyên dáng, hài hòa, cân bằng giống như kiến trúc vậy. Và xin mời quý vị sẽ cùng thưởng thức. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the fan dance.